Hi, it's Local Dragon Lady here in Dueling. It's a brand new dueling season, so I'm back down to Platinum rank. So I figured that I would talk about the deck that I play, which is, it's no big secret, it's Blue Eyes. I play that one the most, I know it the best. I haven't played any games yet this month. Typically what I do now is I just play onto Legend. I just really stay there. I don't really go for King of Games that much anymore because I've gotten to that once and then I did it again and I did it again. So I was like, what else is there to do? So I just go to Legend and just play casually from there. But I just noticed that when I logged in, the KC Grand Tournament is going on. And earlier today I was wondering what's going to happen with the World Championship Series, because I just realized it's been exactly 1 year that I got into the qualifiers. But with the pandemic still going on, what are they going to do for the World Championship Series? So I'm thinking this is the replacement, the KC Grand Tournament. I don't really know how it works when you get to the top ranks. I'm not really sure, because typically, like, you win a trip to the actual live event. I can't see that going on. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into my current deck. Now I have two versions of the Blue Eyes deck that I play. The current one is the one you see up, flashing there in the corner. I just got called Blue Eyes 2. And I've been doing quite well with this one. I took my original Blue Eyes build and I modified it when the newest support came out, because we had the Maiden with Eyes of Blue, the Sage with Eyes of Blue. Those are really good cards. And I must admit, it's been going really, really well. One of the most busted cards in this deck, however, is when I start off with the Glow Up Bulb. Glow Up Bulb has been used in the traditional Blue Eyes build in the physical card game. It's banned now, unfortunately, but given with Crystalline Needle Fiber being released, that's definitely for the best. But Glow Up Bulb, it's a tuner, level 1 tuner, which is very important. And once this card's in the graveyard, you can send a top card to your deck to the graveyard. And if you do this, you're supposed to summon this card. And you can use it in attack or defense. But you can only use it once per duel. So that's why I only put one in this deck. And this essentially allows you to get 2 synchro monsters out in the same turn. So I have quite a few synchro monsters here. Well, that's all I have. I don't really play fusions all that much in duelings. Next, I went ahead and got 2 Maiden with Eyes of Blue. One, she's a level 1 light tuner. One, she's on the field. If your opponent were to attack into you, or targeted with any card effect, you can basically trigger effect. You can negate the attack, and you can supposed to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from either your hand, your deck, or your graveyard, which is really handy. And being a tuner, you can synchro off. 3 White Stone of the Ancients. When these cards were first released, the Legend was really good, but right now Ancients is super important. Tuner, level 1. But once it's sent to the graveyard in any shape or form, so from from your hand as a discard, from battle, or you just send it to the grave from your deck, on your end phase, you summon a Blue Eyes monster to the field. So it can be Blue Eyes White Dragon or a Dragon Spirit of White, because that counts as a Blue Eyes monster. And speaking of, Dragon Spirit of White, it's okay in the physical card game, but in duelings, this card is just crazy. The best effect it has is that once it's normal special summon to the field, you can target a back row, one of your opponent's back row cards, and banish it. Now they can respond to it, but regardless of what happens, it does get banished at the end of the day. And of course, if your opponent already controls a monster in the field, you can basically replace this with a Blue Eyes White Dragon that's already in your hand. So I used to play with 3, but 2 I find is more balanced. 2 Sage with Eyes of Blue. Man, this card, like, when this got released in duelings, I just flipped. I said, this is going to change everything. Level 1 tuner, light, spellcaster. He has 2 effects. If you normal summon him to the field, you can search your deck for a level 1 tuner, light tuner. So yeah, so you can get either your egg or your maiden to your hand. But if you already have an effect monster on the field, so say if you got your maiden already on the field, for example, you can discard the sage from your hand to the grave, target the effect monster, and you're supposed to summon a blue eyes from your deck. But since if you target the maiden with odds of blue, her effect triggers off, and you can get a blue eyes white dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So yeah, this happened numerous times when I had both these cards in my opening hand. So summon her, discard sage, target maiden, and bam, you got 2 dragons on the field right away, which is ridiculous. I kept the Cosmo Brain Dark Spellcaster. All you really gotta do is you can discard a normal monster from your hand, just special summon him, and the level of the monster that you discard will basically depend on how much his attack power raises. So this card gains attack equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard this way times 200. So Blue Eyes being a level 8 monster, so I often use him as a discard, and he will go up to 3100 attack. The same thing goes with a Dragon Spirit of White, because while he's in your hand, it's still considered a normal monster. So that's very important. So 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, 2 Dragon Spirit of White, so that's 5 opportunities to get this guy out. And once he's on the field, if I have an effect monster alongside him, like the Bulb, for example, I can use his effect to target the effect monster and special summon a normal monster from either my hand or my deck. So yeah, so the Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dragon Spirit of White is typically the target. Well, the only targets I have to go after. Global Bulb is so busted in this move because once I target the Bulb for the effect to get a Blue Eyes monster out, I can use the Bulb's effect to bring him back into the field, and then I can synchro off into a monster. So yes, the Bulb is just crazy good in this. 2 Silver's Cry. Not many Blue Eyes decks utilize this card that much anymore, but I still love it because it's really good for recycling your Dragon Spirit of White. You can discard a Dragon Spirit of White to the grave to get your Cosmo Brain out, and if you have the Silver's Cry, bring back the Dragon Spirit of White to get rid of an opponent's back row. Very good. 1 enemy controller. Yeah, I remember using both for a while, but enemy controller is just, yeah, it's limited for a reason. You can target a face-up monster your opponent controls and change its defense, its its battle position, or you can just tribute 1 monster that I control and take control of one of my opponent's monsters. And this is actually really neat when Cosmo Brain is on the field, because if I were to sacrifice a egg to take control of one of my opponent's monster, which is 99.9% of the times an effect monster, I can use this effect to get rid of that effect monster and bring it to Blue Eyes. So it's decent monster removal. Underrated card, Share the Pain. This is a lot of fun, and this is also real good monster removal, and I haven't seen anyone else use it. Of all the times I play this game, I haven't seen anyone else use it, and it's easy. All you gotta do is when you activate, you tribute a monster, and then your opponent must tribute one of their monsters for no effect. And it's cost. So I can't lose here. If I were to put an egg on the field and activate Share the Pain, my egg is going to the grave no matter what. Even if my opponent were to negate Share the Pain. Now when my opponent has a monster in their field, they must tribute it. Unless it's a monster that supposedly cannot be tribute, but there's very few monsters that have that kind of protection, and I swear almost every time I use Share the Pain in an online duel, there is a delay about 5 to 10 seconds. No one sees this card coming. They're always reading it, saying, what on earth does this do? And like, really? I gotta get rid of one of my monsters? And it's probably one of the best removals I have here to get rid of a boss monster. My opponent uses all of their resources to get out one super powered boss monster, whether it be a synchro or a fusion monster. If it doesn't have that kind of protection like the Quintet Magician has, that cannot be tributed, it's going bye-bye. They don't have a choice. They can't, unless it negates the effect, the magic card, Share the Pain. they gotta tribute the monster, so it's gone. And to top it all off, tremendous trap hole. I mean, treacherous trap hole. Tremendous, yeah. Let's not go there. Treacherous trap hole, another good form of monster removal. Only one simply because I already got a enemy controller there. I think one of each is fairly balanced. And besides, I don't want any more traps in my deck anyway if I'm using this one, because if I have no trap cards in my grave, that's when I can activate the effect. So that's pretty self-explanatory. For my extra deck, 2 Blue-Eye Spirit Dragons. This, oh, I was waiting for this card to come out. I mostly use it for the graveyard negate effect, because there's a lot of cards out there that activate in the graveyard. Kit Royd, yeah, I think that's what you name it. He comes to mind. But yes, once you synchro summon to him, if your opponent will activate a card in the graveyard, you can use him to negate it. You can also tag him out for a light synchro monster, which is typically the Azurai Silver Dragon. And it is a quick effect. So Azurai Silver Dragon, once he's in the field, basically until the next turn, all my dragons are unaffected, cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. You can still beat over them, but there's a lot of effects out there that do target and do destroy. So he can be very handy. And on my standby phase, if I have a Blue Eyes White Dragon in the grave, he special summons him to the field, which is really nice. Or I can tag out for the Stardust Spark Dragon. And he's very handy once per turn during either player's turn, so it's a quick effect. I can target one face-up card that I control, and during that turn it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, so it's decent protection. Now the non-light synchros, Vermilion Dragon Mech. This is another reason that Glow Bulb is so busted. Once per turn, I can banish 1 tuner from your hand, your field, or the graveyard. You can target 1 card on the field and you can destroy it. And he can still attack while this is going on. So like with the bluest alternative White Dragon, he can target a monster, destroy it, which is fine, but he can't attack. But Vermilion Dragon Mech, he can. So that makes him so devastating. And so yes, that's most of the time what I do is once I get a Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dragon Spirit of White, the best scenario is to use a Glow Bulb to synchro off into the Vermilion Dragon Mech. You can bring back the bulb to synchro off into something else. Like say, I don't know, use Silver's Cry to bring back a Blue Eyes, I can synchro off into the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Now that the bulb's effect has been used and it can only be used once per duel, it's fair game. So that's typically the target I'll use to banish for the Vermilion Dragon Mech. Of course, you can use any tuner you want, but the best thing about this too is if your opponent were to use a card effect to destroy Dragon Mech, you can bring back the tuner, or any tuner you banished, and put it back to your hand. And the typical target I use is, say if I were to banish the Sacred Ozzy Blue, I always bring him back, because his effect is just that good. And last but not least, Gigantic Castle. It's just a really good beat stick. I had used other synchro monsters, but like the strongest beat stick I had in the deck is Cosmo Brain. But I mean, if you can get Cosmo Brain plus the Gigantic Castle, which is very easy to get out, I mean, it's uncommon, but sometimes you just need something that's a little bit stronger than 3,000. So yeah, so this is the deck I'm playing as of the recording of this video. But I have kept my older version of this deck, and I use the skill Alternative Evolution. You know, really good. So I called it Dragon Lady. I have played around with Chaos Max. I have done a video when Chaos Max first came out. That skill is super crazy, but it's more of a gimmicky factor. It's not something I can overly make it, competitive wise. So okay, so same thing. Alternative Evolution to get to turn a Blue Eyes White Dragon into a Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. This is a deck that I used the most before the new support came out. But this is the deck that this is the one that I used to get to King of Games numerous times. This is the one I used to get into the World Championship Series, the 2019 qualifiers. But I started off with the Keeper of the Shrine. This card is just busted. You can use it as 2 tributes to get out to tribute summon a monster. But while it's in the graveyard, while this card's in your graveyard, in your hand or your graveyard, and the face of dragon monster in the field, except Keeper of the Shrine, is sent to the graveyard by card effect or destroyed by battle, so Blue Eyes White Dragon in the field gets sent to the grave. I can special summon this card from my hand or my grave. So it just keeps coming back. Once you get Keeper of the Shrine in your hand, he's not leaving. Not at all, because getting the Blue Eyes out or Dragon Spirit of White out, once they're out, he's live. Whether it's in your hand or your grave, you're just going to keep coming back, coming back, coming back. Uses 2 tributes to get a dragon monster out. Yeah, because people would often get rid of my Blue Eyes White Dragon. Okay, they're going in for the kill. No, this guy just comes out and protects me. So, yes, it's only once per turn, but that's all you really need. Standard 3, White Stone of the Ancients. I'll explain why I have that. 1 Sphere Karibo. I remember I used 2, but 1 Sphere Karibo, it actually comes up fairly often, and he saved my butt so many times. 2 Dragon Spirit of Whites. Standard. 3, I find it's a little too much. 2 is pretty balanced. Dawn Knight. When the new Dragon Blue Eyes support came out, I didn't want to, but I got rid of the Dawn Knight, and he's still incredibly good. I occasionally switch between him now and again, but once he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send 1 light monster from your deck to the graveyard, and it's pretty obvious. Typically, I would send the White Stone of the Ancients, because in the end phase, the Blue Eyes will come out. But if I got a revival card on my hand, like Silver's Cry, you can send Blue Eyes White Dragon to revive, or better yet, you send the Dragon Spirit of White. Use Silver's Cry, get Dragon Spirit of White into the field, and get rid of a back row card. In this one, I used 3 Cosmo Brain, not 2. 3 is perfect for this build, because it didn't have that additional support, like the Maiden and the Sage. So 3 was perfect. 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, 2 Silver's Cry. I used F3, but 2 was decent. 1 enemy controller for obvious reasons, and 2 Share the Pain. When Share the Pain came out, this is where a lot of the changes happened. So where I used to use 3 Silver's Cry and 3 Dawn Knight, or maybe even like more than 1 Sphere Karibo, I had to make room. I put in 2 Share the Pain. It's just that good. Even if negated, I still get the payout. And I have more targets too, because not only can I use the eggs, but I can use the Dawn Knight. So if I had no eggs in my hand, play the Dawn Knight, Share the Pain, tribute my Dawn Knight, get the effect, send the egg to the grave from the deck, and bam, Blue Eyes White Dragon comes out on the end phase. And I got rid of a monster my opponent controlled too. And 1 Treacherous Trap Hole, because I could. Now, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Yes, I think I added that one as soon as the new support came out, but this was not in the original deck that I used for climbing through the ranks and in the WCS, that sort of thing. So odds are this was a 2nd Gigantic Castle. Vermilion Dragon Mech, so good. Even though the Glow Bulb wasn't released at this point, amazing card. Amazing. Stardust Dragon. Offer protection. And it was really good against U-Bell decks. Basically, to get Stardust Dragon out against a U-Bell deck, it was pretty much game. Armiti's Keeper of Boundaries. This was really good because a lot of decks were back row heavy, and once you go into battle phase, your opponent couldn't activate anything in the back row, or activate card effects, sorry, not just the back row, but card effects. I couldn't activate them, so it was pretty much a guarantee way to get damage in. The Azura Silver Dragon, use just good protection once I have my dragons out, and 1 Gigantic Castle, because it's a good beat stick. So yes, so yeah, Dragon Lady, that was my primary Blue Eyes Dragon deck for the longest time, until the current Blue Eyes support came out. So yes, so yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll participate in the KC Grand Tournament, but in the meantime, I'll just keep playing casually as I usually do, just for fun. But anyway, what do you think? Can you think of any better ideas I can tweak my Blue Eyes deck? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, remember to be a good sport. Play the game, not the fame. See ya. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe and be sure to click on the bell for notifications. You can also check me out on Facebook. The link is in the description below. Happy dueling!